And hello everybody and welcome back to the stream, or if it's your first time here, welcome. Hope you're all having a fantastic Friday or whatever day you're watching this on, and we are back. And man, I cannot begin to tell. I've said many times before, oh, this is the freshest I have ever been for a stream. Motherfuckers, I set my alarm to the wrong time on accident. And I fucking woke up at 7:38, which is 2 minutes before I typically have my maximum time for getting ready for the stream. So I literally woke up, looked at the fucking clock like, excuse me? And then I haven't done fucking anything. I immediately just started setting up all of my fucking equipment. Literally, instantly. 2 minutes before I usually prepare. What the absolute fuck? Holy shit. Utterly absurd. But it's okay, because I made it anyway, and I wasn't, like, late. Late at least. But yeah, so, Jesus Christ, this is absurd to me, but if that's what happened, then that's what happened. And yeah, so, today, again, we're resuming Of the Devil. I've been having a good time with this game, so have all of you. I also made sure I got a guide open in case I continue to be completely fucking retarded. You wanna know what's funny is that the first question of the first trial that we're doing right now, I actually got it right. I guess I just timed out when I tried to do the guess, because otherwise I don't really see how I missed the guess, because it was like the first guess I made, being the blood test. But you know what, rather than complaining even more, let's just get into it and resume where we left off, because we are currently in court in the game. So let's get to it. Holy moly! But yeah, I am flabbergasted that I slept in so late, but it was because of an accident. So like, at least it's understandable. But fucking Christ, I cannot believe it made me sleep until literally like the stream hour was approaching. Fucking hell. And is this going? It is. It is capturing. All right, cool. Hope y'all having a good time. Let's prove that David Asher did not fucking kill himself. So 2 foot. Okay, we. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. So this is the one after we made a bunch of mistakes. This one is beforehand. We're gonna go with this one because, fuck you. That's why. I'm gonna go with the one where I made less mistakes. If there's anything missing, guys, make sure you tell me, because as I said, I fucked everything up with my sleep schedule right here. So. Drug overdose. Talk screen. Whiskey. Wanna bet? You see, that was the correct one. It's impossible for David Asher's talk screen to be clean, and we all know it, since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. Woo! Yay! I got it correct, even though I thought I got that correctly the first time. Also, what the hell's going on? Oh yeah, let's look at some profiles and evidence and stuff. AD 84. Another waifu. Adjutant AD 84. Date of birth September 2nd. Why is there a date of birth? Wow. 299 kilograms. What the fuck? Height 263 centimeters? What the fuck? She's like almost 3 meters tall? Well, not almost 3 meters, but she's like 2.5 meters tall? Are you fucking serious? She's fucking humongous. What the fuck? Likes raw salmon, running water, and gymnastics. But isn't she like an old model android, not a warm android? Why would she like raw salmon? Dislikes criminals, contrarians, and Pigeons? What's wrong with pigeons? Did you guys know that the hatred of pigeons is artificial? And that in comparison to other bird, like I didn't say S-E. I didn't say salmon. I said salmon. You misheard. I did not begin that word with S-E. I began it with S-A. And not the criminal type of S-A. The S-A-L-M-O-N. Sign, Libra. Self-assigned. Type, open, obedient, observant O people. What? What? 3 sizes. 109B, 64W, 94H. It's bust, waist, hip, right? I have no idea how absurd these proportions are because I don't constantly look at these for... I think the last time I heard about these ratios was when I was like 14 years old and reading like an ecchi manga. Otherwise, I'd never hear about these measurements ever. What the fuck? Very, very, very bizarre. You know what? I have Google open. Hold on. What it... So, cm to feet... centimeters to feet. Oh my god! She is 8'6". She's like she's like a foot taller than Lady Dimitrescu. What the fuck? No, Lady Dimmy is like 9'8" or some shit. I don't know what evidence is in this page that is unread. Interview with luxury. I thought I read that as well. Why is that? Wait, hold on. I'm not sure what things are giving the red dots off, but it's too late. Since he was on camera drinking alcohol the night that he died. Ah! That makes sense. You've got that wrong. Successfully object to testimony for the first time. Yay. And that scared you? The witness merely misspoke, Your Honor. As it plainly states in the tox report itself, Dr. Asher did have alcohol in his blood, but not at such a concentration as to be lethal. Yeah, my bad. When I said the tox screen was clean, I just meant it didn't tell the attending physicians anything they didn't already know. Overall, a little more nitpicky than I'd like to be, but at least I was able to balance the momentum, more or less. I can't get over the adjutant being 8'6" and having humongous boobs. And 8 personalities. What the fuck? Jesus. Shall we continue, Dr. Sato? If the tox screens were negative for the pharmaceuticals and drugs, what caused Dr. Asher's respiratory failure? During my autopsy, I analyzed his blood and was able to isolate a foreign compound. So there was a lethal dose of a drug inside his body, it just happened to be a drug that the hospital had never encountered before. That's correct. I think we're all going to get tired pretty fast if we don't at least pick a placeholder name for this substance, Your Honor. People don't object, Your Honor. In that case, I'll put all my creative heuristics to work coming up with an original scientific fitting name for this substance. A name like Omega. Omega-3. You know what's funny is that Omega-3 is like a fish oil nutrient of some sort. It's like a pre-existing vitamin. So like saying Omega-3 doesn't make any sense. That name is already taken. Fine, call it Delta, or whatever. Delta, used in science to denote an unknown variable. Not bad. Oh boy. Delta has other meanings when it comes to drugs, but yeah, our Delta matches no known public pharmacology or toxicology records. That being said, chemically, it does have all the hallmarks of a general depressant. I know the feeling. So it stands to reason that it would exhibit a similar effect of the body when ingested. You say ingested. Why? I eliminated all other possibilities during my examination of the body. He must have swallowed it, and judging from his stomach contents, it must have been a liquid. Thank you, Dr. Sato. Delta is usually a change over time. Yeah, like how Delta P changes you from living to dead over the course of a nanosecond. Shall I summarize things for the court? Yes, please. I wasn't listening that closely. The victim died of respiratory failure, and his tox screen shows that his blood was clear of anything that could cause respiratory failure. Ah, yeah, true. Except for this unknown substance, the poison we've labeled Delta. Well, that sounds like a textbook suicide. Should we wrap it up here? Not quite yet, Your Honor. This may clearly be a poisoning, but there's at least one detail about this case that doesn't feel like a suicide at all. The whiskey was negative for poison. Which means he didn't drink the poison and die because of the whiskey. Didn't see him add anything corroborated by camera footage. Died from respiratory failure. Okay, I'm pretty fucking sure. I am pretty goddamn motherfucking sure that it's the whiskey. The whiskey? What about it? It wasn't that expensive. Why wouldn't he want to drink the most expensive liquor possible if he was... Really want to finish that thought? Not this time. Focus. Suicide's a lot harder to pull off when you've got... Jung's testimony? This has no poison in it, though. The people shouldn't get ahead of themselves. Oh, here we go. There's nothing textbook about a supposed suicide that had a witness sitting there watching it happen. As you say. Well, now I'm lost. What was the poison? Was this poisoning a suicide or not? Oh my god, she's picking her nose. Do androids even have boogies? Like, why is she picking her nose? If that's the case, then perhaps we should give the defense an opportunity to cross-examine. Unless they're going to insist on testifying themselves. How kind of you to offer. Ball's in my court now, so how do I counter? Emma's argument basically goes as follows. David ingested the Delta knowingly, and the Delta caused his respiratory failure. He died of respiratory failure, thus David committed suicide. Uh-oh. During blackjack, every piece of information you learn deals you a card. Oh man, more of this stuff regarding how gambling works. I don't know how gambling works, but okay. Every piece of information you learn deals a card. Choose only the questions that are logical and relevant, and only press if you think a line of questioning is worth continuing. This is not real blackjack. I understand. I'm just stupid, and I don't know how the game functions at times. Or else you'll go bust and lose credit. However, hover over press to see what the follow-up question would be. You can only win blackjack when you reach exactly 21. So don't press further if you're already there. And don't ask the wrong questions. With my cross-examination, I need to put up a microscope over the weakest part of that argument. Alright? And hope that some cracks will appear under pressure. Are you sure Delta is to blame? Are you sure it was ingested? Are you sure it was respiratory failure? We don't see it ingested on camera. We do not see him ingest the Delta on camera. Are you sure it was respiratory failure? The fact that he did not get oxygen to his blood means it is some sort of respiratory failure, so, like, I don't think that's a real question. Are you sure Delta is to blame? The problem with this question is that even though it didn't happen on camera, there's literally no evidence that anything else killed him. There's literally zero evidence of anything else killing him, so it's kind of like, yeah, we didn't see him ingested on camera, and we didn't necessarily see anything else kill him, but there's literally nothing abnormal other than alcohol and Delta, so, like, saying that it's not to blame is ridiculous. But what we did not see is him ingested on camera. Dr. Sato, you said that the subject had to have ingested the Delta orally. But how sure can we actually be about that? Pretty sure? I mean, I can go into detail about all the cavities that I checked, but... Was it knowingly ingested? Oh yeah, knowingly... Oh yeah, that's another thing. It could have been that, he didn't know that he was drinking it, if it was ingested. Because we didn't see... Again, we didn't see him do it on camera. Always bring out the good ketchup for the company. Good evening, people. Good evening, LBG. I had a wild day because I literally woke up 2 minutes before 7:40 because I set my alarm to the wrong time. So I literally woke up and streamed, and I have literally done nothing else. There is literally nothing, no instance of me waking up that has been earlier and more soon than today. Oh, you want to know something else? I finally got my first hater on my first ever YouTube video, so that's also pretty exciting. Yeah, this is the freshest stream possible. I had time to get a drink and get the mail, and then I had to set everything up immediately. Let's press her on this. Was it knowingly ingested? Congrats, yes, on my first hater, yes. But how can we? How sure can we be the subject ingested the Delta knowingly? Well, we can't be sure of that. Certainly not from an autopsy. You said it must have been a liquid, yes. Would it have been a large amount? Depends upon the concentration of the delivery solution. It could have been just a drop. The kind of thing that could easily go unnoticed, yes. Calls for speculation, Your Honor. Withdrawn. Ah, man, I wanted to jump on her case. So, we pressed her on this, and it did in fact work. We still need to get to 21, though. Are you sure Delta is to blame? There is literally nothing else that could have done this. So I don't know why this question would work. I suppose because he died of deoxygenated blood, it wasn't necessarily his lungs that were the respiratory failure originated from, I suppose. I'm gonna save just in case, because if I get this wrong because of the game being weird, then I want to be prepared. Are you sure it was respiratory failure? Isn't it possible that he actually died from something other than respiratory failure? Well, no, not really. Okay, alright. I don't care that I'm save scumming, okay? I'm stupid, and this is a game for smart people. Are you sure Delta is to blame? Dr. Sato, you were only able to even identify the presence of Delta after hours of work. Can you really be sure that this never-before-seen chemical can cause respiratory failure? Well, I have had time to run simulations, and they do give every indication that it would act as a depressant. In just enough of any depressant and respiratory failure would occur. Okay, see, the problem here is that I'm at 21 or 20, not 21. I don't think I can press her. I don't think pressing her will put me over 21, won't it? Unless I need to go over 21 and then I need to get something wrong to bring it down to 21. Is that possible? I'm not sure. Only simulations? You've ran simulations? So you haven't tested Delta on an actual person? No, I haven't. Oh, that put us exactly at 21. Never mind. That would be very difficult to do given our extremely limited sample. Not to mention highly unethical. Of course. But without such a test, you don't actually know for sure that Delta can cause any of the symptoms you've described. Was there a question in that statement, Your Honor, Counselor? You don't actually know for sure, do you? No, not yet anyway. Seems like that's... blackjack. Oh, shit. Okay. The world reached 21 in blackjack. Okay. Zawarudo? Yeah, okay, alright. Thank you for your time, Dr. Sato. We all appreciate it. But it does seem like we're still in the dark about many details regarding David Asher's death, wouldn't you say? Well, poisoning via the compound we're calling Delta is still the most likely explanation. So there are other explanations for what happened? I'm sorry, is this court? Yeah, this is we are literally in court. You see this? You see this robot lady? She is 8'6" and she is the judge. She is an adjutant. Oh, and she has 9 personalities. And she is my... No. No, they are not all your wife, CJ. So there are other explanations for what happened. Defense is calling for speculation, Your Honor. It's not speculation when a medical examiner is attempting to explain the cause of death, Your Honor. Dog, you can't claim everyone. The witness will answer the question. Well, respiratory failure can be caused by illnesses. If he had undiagnosed pneumonia or some other disease and his respiratory system was weakened, undiagnosed pneumonia with his level of health care, it is technically possible. I'm sorry, I thought this was America. We don't technically know what country we're in this game. We could be in the UK because everyone is speaking English. Or we could be in Australia because everyone is speaking English. It is technically possible. I'll take it. I have no more questions for this witness. Ugh, that felt weak, but I can't be picky when I'm stalling for time. Seeding doubt wherever I can, however I can, is just about all I can manage. And Emma's yawning. Aha, new witness. Detective Reyes, you were one of the leads investigating this crime scene. Yes, ma'am. Oh, look, my other wife. And did you interview the EMTs who first arrived on the scene? I did. They responded to an emergency signal from the home security console located in the kitchen. What did they find when they arrived on the scene? The victim was unconscious on the floor in his parlor. He was receiving CPR from a witness, the individual who had called them. They were both airlifted to Gatesfield Memorial Hospital, and Dr. Asher was declared dead shortly after arriving there. He's right, we could be in a lot of places. She's actually handling herself pretty well up on the stand. I half expected her to roll her eyes during the swearing-in. But when you take into consideration her love for boot-heel authority, she might be right at home here in the courtroom, the very seat of the state's power over people. Could you imagine if they were all married to you, though? Like, they had to go through all of this, then come back home to the same place? That would be so awkward. Or, that would be just another Tuesday. Honestly, it reminds me of the Futurama episode where Fry attempts to date a woman in a polyamorous relationship where there's like 5 other men in the relationship. And they're just sitting in her apartment eating dinner at a round table like they're a normal family, and it's so awkward. How could people be in polyamorous relationships without being like destroyed by just the sheer awkwardness? You know what I mean? Like, how could you tolerate the awkwardness? Unless you have no self-worth, in which case you might think that it's natural for you. The witness met with the deceased about half an hour before he fell ill, from 7:30 to 8 p.m. The two of them talked for some time and shared a drink. Shortly after, Dr. Asher became distracted, lightheaded, and eventually non-responsive. I could never do it, it's not personal enough. Yeah, no shit. Like, it's... Like, legitimately, it is unwise. It is legitimately an unwise situation to put yourself into. It is not healthy. It's not natural. Yeah, it's very much not conducive to mental health being on the positive. And during the same time period, drinking the same liquor, this witness exhibited no symptoms themselves. None. Through a collaborative effort with Noble Electronics Security Division, we secured the entire building. But we found nothing unusual in any of the food or drink on the premises, including the bottle that the witness and the deceased drank from. So what was your ultimate conclusion after investigating the scene? The whiskey bottle was clean, the witness's drink was clean. Only person who got sick was Dr. Asher, drinking from a cup that he had prepared. So it is our determination that Dr. Asher committed suicide by poisoning himself. She's pretty tight-lipped up there. As opposed to down there. But I think she slipped up at least once. The police want to claim that they've eliminated every other possibility and covered every angle. But I know that there are a number of blind spots that they're not willing to admit to. Upright cup. David's cup. Poison? Asher met with the witness at 7:30 p.m. last night to 8 p.m. And by 8 p.m. he was dead. He's the one who prepared their drinks. And there was no opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. He drank from a cup that he himself poisoned. Yeah, we don't know that. Pretty cut and dry. As opposed to down there, Morgan turns towards the camera. She slipped up there and made a claim she can't actually support. Oh, I missed it. Seems pretty cut and dry if you ask me. But just to be sure, we scanned the kitchen, the lab, and the basement. Okay. And there was no poison anywhere else. Right. I believe... Call. Wait. Fuck! Okay. Lost your train of thought? Let me find it for you. Oh no! Back on track? Definitely, Your Honor. Okay, how do I use these specific evidences? Man, I suck at this game. No opportunity for the witness to ever slip him something. That's true. He himself poisoned. We don't actually know that he poisoned it. The kitchen, lab, and basement, and there was no poison anywhere else. It has to be the one that I thought of, though, right? Okay, I'm just going to call this again and use his cup. Wanna bet? Aha! I was right. I'm stupid. You can't make that claim, not when the evidence record clearly shows that tests of kill me. You can't make that claim, not when the evidence record clearly shows that tests of Dr. Asher's cup were inconclusive. The police can't claim he drank from a poisoned cup without first proving that his cup was in fact poisoned. Oh, right, yeah, we didn't actually know about, we don't actually know about how he got the poison in his cup, because we never saw it. It was never on camera, and there was no poison anywhere else. Again, I'm leaning towards the idea that he had Sarah kill him, and then he had her memory erased of it. You're talking a lot of sense, lady. Does it resolve, or do you have a response, D.A. Rockford? Testing on the deceased's cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. But why is the question? Yeah, why is definitely one of the big questions. Like, why would he want to kill himself? Then again, his boyfriend broke up with him. But then again, if he wanted to kill himself and he had Sarah do it, why would he want us to have Sarah? That's another mystery. Like, why would he want to kill himself and then give Sarah to us? Twink death, but for real? But for literal twink death. Testing on the deceased's cup has been inconclusive so far, Your Honor. I don't dispute that. Though I'd be surprised if the defense has any idea how else the poison could have possibly been delivered to Dr. Asher alone. Not at this time, but that's the funny thing about the burden of proof. It's not on the defense. As we're all aware. Right, we all knew that. I definitely knew that. She's playing her PSP. She's playing a PSP. Can't an android just play video games inside their brain without having to do this? My wife. Remember, she's 8'6". Does that mean this is not a PSP? This might be like Nintendo Switch 2, but it just looks like a PSP because she's 8'6". Oh no. Are you guys gonna fight to death in chat over her? Now, if the people are done bemoaning that pesky innocent until proven guilty issue, perhaps I could begin my cross-examination. Fire away, baby. Fire away? Baby? Ray's testimony is meant to show that David's the only one who could have poisoned himself. She'll be on guard and hard set against helping me, but if I keep her focus on eliminating other possibilities, I could get her to make my point for me before she even realizes what's happening. Could he have been poisoned off camera? Anyone else in the building? So this is the absolute strongest piece for us to say, is that we do not see him poisoning, we do not see what happens to him off camera, right? Detective, isn't it possible that Dr. Asher was poisoned off camera? Possible? I don't know how else it would have been done. But that just goes to show it had to have been suicide. The only time he was off camera. Oh, that was a fail. That was a bust. Oops. Okay, I suck. The only time he was off camera, he was all by himself. Shit, that's not where I wanted to lead the conversation. It might certainly seem that way, yes. but he was not seen poisoning himself. Anyone else in the building? The only people you saw on camera that night were Dr. Asher and this witness, correct? Yeah, there was no footage in the house of anyone else. Guys, remember, Sarah was in the house. Are there any parts of the house that aren't recorded by camera? Sure. There are a number of rooms in the home's interior that don't have cameras in them. So it's possible that there were other people there that night because cameras weren't watching every room. No, that's not possible. The only way up to the penthouse is through the building's elevator or the fire escape stairs, both of which are on camera. And that still wouldn't get you past his front door, which is also on camera. No one besides the two of them was there that day. What about before that day? No, stay. Ever seen poisoning himself? Detective, we've been doing a lot of assuming and reasoning in quick succession, so I'll ask this plainly for the court. Is there any photographic evidence showing David Asher adding anything to his drink that night? No. Seems he had already poured for both of them. Seems he had already poured for the both of them by the time he returned to the parlor. He had already poured. In that case, the next question needs to be when and what. Oh. Any poison in the kitchen? No, if the question is when and what, could he have been poisoned off camera? Oh, right, I'm stupid! Why did I do that? I am destroying myself. Anyone else in the building? Any poison in the kitchen? Detective Reyes, during your course of your investigation, did you find any samples of Delta in the kitchen or parlor? No. That was a fast answer. Well, it was a pretty easy question. If we had found poison at the scene of the crime, that'd be pretty important, don't you think? What about in his lab, his bedroom, his basement? No, no, and no. We didn't find Delta or any other unusual substance in any part of his penthouse. Right, they never found any poison. No poison at all. What about a poison container? At any point in the investigation, was poison found on the body of the deceased? No. He must have been searched. Did he have any capsules or vials? Eyedroppers? Didn't even have his wallet on him. Why? Thank you for enlightening the court about this point, Detective. What point? Well, I think it's strange, don't you, Detective? I mean, how could he have possibly poisoned himself without first procuring some poison? Yeah, that's actually another good point. If you literally found none of the poison anywhere. Your Honor, has the court considered that maybe his lungs just did that? You know what? What if I'm wrong? What if Sarah did not poison him? What if he didn't commit suicide, but nobody murdered him either? What if he died in a freak accident? What if it was a freak accident? That'd be weird. I don't know what that would mean. It would mean that he didn't kill himself, but I don't know what legally that would mean. I guess that would technically... No, it wouldn't technically mean accidental suicide. It wouldn't mean accidental suicide. I don't think there's such a thing as accidental suicide. It would mean death by natural causes. It would mean manslaughter. Actually, yeah, you're right. Oh my god.
What if Zhong was trying to date rape him? I know that's very unsettling of a thing to say, but what if that happened? And it killed him instead of actually just knocking him unconscious?
What if that's what this turns into? What if this turns into Zhong and his ex-boyfriend like arguing or something? Oh my god, what if it turns into that? Like they're arguing about their relationship with David before he died. Oh god, that would be so dark. You want to know something I'm noticing right now? I want you to look at this. Every time it ticks, it always the blackness always consumes an entirety of a small line here. It very specifically does that every single pulse it makes. It is extremely specific. Okay. Blackjack. What do you mean, procure? Where did it come from, detective? The poison that you're so sure was dissolved in his drink. It can't have come from thin air, you understand. It had to have been in another container at some point. Whatever it was in before, it probably evaporated. All of it? It only took a small droplet to kill. Apparently accidental deaths are a ruling. What does that mean, though, by it being a ruling? Your Honor, are you going to ask them to keep it civil? In a minute, sure. There wasn't any pill bottle in his bathroom or syringe in his pocket containing this apparently deadly substance. No killer and also not a suicide. Okay, so it could turn out that we complete this by proving that he accidentally died. And that satisfies Sarah's request for us, because she asked us to prove that he didn't kill himself. So if we prove that he accidentally died and didn't kill himself, that technically satisfies Sarah's request from us. So how did he get it? What did he keep it in? The police want to claim that Dr. Asher committed suicide because they've established that his guest never had an opportunity to kill him. But they've failed to prove that the victim had the means to kill himself. And I guess I'll be the one to move things along. The Delta didn't come out of thin air, Counselor. Oh, Emma's challenging us directly now. And it didn't come from a syringe either. Dr. Asher was able to drip the poison right into his cup, straight from the source. Shit, that's way too specific to be a bluff. Uh-oh. Allow me to submit into evidence Exhibit G. A piece of machinery found in Dr. Asher's laboratory. Oh, this is gonna be his android fabricator. Okay, so this is gonna be his fabricator, and I believe her argument is going to be that he fabricated the drug using this and put it directly into his drink. That's what I think she's about to argue. Sold under the product name Nanofactorer. Oh, I know this one. It's used in delicate scientific work to produce nanomachines, chemical compounds, and polymers. That's the same machine I saw when Dawes gave me a tour of the production floor. Very good, Your Honor. It's a valuable tool in any scientific laboratory, and Dr. Asher was well acquainted with its use. As a matter of fact, he had a number of presets coded into it. Interesting. Even the android can see where this is going. With just a few taps, he could reproduce any number of specific substances for his research. Or any other chemical his heart desired, really. You think Randok Mechanics would allow their product to be used to produce illicit chemicals? Using the Nanofactorer to make unlicensed drugs does go against their terms and conditions, so Dr. Asher's warranty is certainly null and void. But they can't hard-code their machines to prevent the production of a drug that hasn't been invented yet. Dr. Asher died when his respiratory system failed because of a depressant overdose. For him, it would have been peaceful, like falling asleep. You see, he didn't need to commission a synthetic drug from some street vendor or order an exotic poison from overseas. He could produce Delta at any time in the comfort of his own home. A quick and painless death, readily available in under a minute at the touch of a button. Specifically, Preset 19. Ooh. Damn. Okay, hold on. Nanofactorer is this is a new evidence for us. Machine capable of assembling organic or inorganic compounds and even nanomachines after just 2 minutes of the vacuum-sealed mixing. Found at Noble's factory, show floor, as well as inside Dr. Asher's personal lab. Presets on David's model's history exist for a compound identical to the substance found in his bloodstream after his death. Fuck, he had a preset. Oh, that's gonna make this really hard, because if he had a preset for the Delta chemical, that implies that he planned to do this. So this one piece of evidence just made this monumentally more difficult. That's really bad. I thought I actually had something for a moment there, but I was playing into Emma's hand the entire time. Seems like we're done with this witness, Your Honor. Yes, ma'am. But before we move on, perhaps we should take a moment and put together a timeline of events as we know them. Not for me, of course, just in case someone else might need it. Simple enough. We know that Dr. Asher left the parlor and went down to the basement at 7:36. That's where he got the whiskey and the cups they drank from. And the camera shows him returning to the parlor to drink with the witness at 7:40 p.m. And of course, we know that he fell ill and passed away shortly thereafter. Any objections so far, Counselor? Not at this time, no. The timeline you've described is accurate as we know it. As you say. With this latest piece of information, we now know that Asher could have easily dispensed the poison directly into his cup, by placing it inside the nanofactorer, activating the preset, and simply waiting 2 minutes. Easily accomplished during the 4 minutes he spent off camera from 7:36 to 7:40. Wouldn't you say? Ooh, a complete timeline of events. He had the means, he had the only opportunity. Seems like we're about to wrap up here, no? Where are we on that loading bar of yours, Sarah? Adonai, I had a feeling you'd say that. Well, Counselor, are we done here? Emma's argument is missing something. Raise. Feels like we're missing at least one biggie here, folks. Namely, motive. Oh! Yeah, that's a good point. Oh, right. I knew that. I wasn't getting excited to finish early or anything. This is a preliminary hearing, Counselor. Our focus should be on the evidence, so... Just feels like an awful waste of taxpayer dollars to get us all down here for a debate and not get to the truth of the matter, you know? So, I was hoping we wouldn't have to go through this next part. What are you talking about? Your Honor, if it pleases the court... Oh, new evidence. Gimme. This is a recording of a phone conversation dated at 6:30 p.m. last night between the deceased man and a man he was in a relationship with. A man named Isaac Porter. Porter and David's breakup call? If Emma wants to present it here now, then the content must be... Relevance, Your Honor? Yeah, that. What bearing does this recording have on the case at hand? It establishes what emotional state the deceased was in on the day he died. Cool. Begin playback. Hello? 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 I'm not gonna give him that voice. I'm just making a Five Nights joke. Hello? Hearing David's voice, oh, that must really fuck with both Morgan and Sarah, because they care about him so much. Oh, he's soft-spoken. I'll try to do a soft boy voice. Always so soft-spoken. Isaac, are you there? Yeah, I'm here. What's wrong? Don't know. Guess I wasn't expecting you to pick up. Why not? Did you mean to call me? Yeah, I did. You gonna ask me how I've been? Yeah. How have you been? Christ, David. What's the matter? Whatever I did, I'm sorry. Whatever you did? That's alright, man. I'm sure you are sorry. I just don't want any more apologies from you. Okay. And I don't think I want anything from you anymore, David. What do you mean? I shouldn't have done this. This was unnecessary. My bad, man, for not taking the hints. With you, it's always better left unsaid, right? More efficient that way, so you can keep working. Isaac, if I've been distant with you, or... Nah, you haven't been distant with me, or cold with me, or anything with me for a while now. Isaac. Just forget it, man. Forget I called. Forget it all, yeah? Let's just forget we were ever anything but strangers. That's all we are now anyway. Isaac, recently I've been distracted, I know. Nah, don't worry about it. Really, we're good. Oh. Okay. So do you need anything, or should I... I bet Sarah feels very, 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 very upset. If she wasn't an android, she might cry here. Where did you even get this? All of Dr. Asher's incoming and outgoing phone calls were recorded by the building's penumbra system. And the recording continued for several seconds after each call was ended for quality assurance. All phone calls received or made from inside the noble executive apartment building that David Asher lived in are automatically intercepted and recorded by the building's penumbra security system in line with Noble's data security best practices. Wow. Does that mean that Noble knows when you're masturbating with your phone? Because they just record it automatically? That's kind of fucking crazy. This world sucks. Like, this game's universe sucks. It's such a surveillance state. You can't do anything with any privacy whatsoever. Remind me to check the terms and conditions on my next phone bill. Shall we hear the rest? Gotta be the last time. The last time I let someone... Last time. Father. We were just given 2 pieces of evidence from Emma that seems kind of insurmountable. I'm not sure how we're gonna win this. A phone call that took place between Isaac Porter and David Asher from 6:30 to 6:36. On the night that David died. Isaac ended their relationship during the call. Because the call was received inside his home, it was automatically intercepted, yeah. The call is a nothing burger? Yeah, but in our current argument of, oh, what's the motive for suicide, it's kind of damning in that sense. That's why I'm not sure how we're going to beat this. Because if our current point is to ask for motive, well, now we sort of have a reasonable motive of, oh, I just ended a relationship, I kill. Right? Because a lot people have done a lot stupider things in the effort of killing themselves. You know? Might just be a call, but it makes for pretty damning evidence at this point in the discussion. Emma's got her means, opportunity, and motive all lined up. So why is she looking at me like that? That was depressing. Can we finish up without anything else that horrible? Emma's never been apologetic in victory. So does that mean this is just pity? Oh, that must piss us off. Less than 2 hours before Dr. Asher died, Isaac Porter ended their relationship over the phone. The court can make a reasonable assumption about what kind of mental state Dr. Asher was in last night. That was a bad move, Miss Rockford. Then, if the people have nothing further to add, I've been feeling off my game all day, caught between corporate inbreeders and ant-brained protesters, but pitying me? Here and now? You think Morgan and Emma are ever gonna hate fuck at some point in this game series? That's all it takes to get my blood properly boiling. Well, she's gonna kill someone tonight. She doesn't kill based upon anger, though. She kills based upon whim. Like, sheer abstract whim. It's about time for me to call my first witness, no? You wanna keep going after that? What are you doing, counselor? Just calling the ultimate silver bullet, rock-solid slam dunk witness a girl could ask for. Is it gonna be Sarah? It's Jess! Oh no! Oh, poor Jess. Poor Jess. Shut the fuck up, Duo, you piece of shit. You're right, my wife is whimsical. Yeah, she's whimsical about murder. Do you think these 1, 2, 3, and 4... Do you think these are, like, the brain centers for the personalities of the adjutant? And that she has 9 so that the other 5 we can't see are encircling us? Got a childlike wonder in her eyes at the smile as she takes a hobo's last breath. Yeah, and you're the hobo. You're going to be dead. You're going to be extremely dead. Is here good? Does it matter where I put my hands? Miss Starling, thank you for coming here today. Of course, whatever I can do. What is your relation to the deceased? I was his executive assistant at Noble Electronics. I would arrange his meetings, coordinate communications between him and other departments. That sort of thing? Ultimate silver bullet? Starling's the only play I have right now. The only stalling tool I have left. For now, I shouldn't just focus on getting as much information from her as possible. I should just focus. Whether or not it's useful, it'll at least buy me some time. While Jess was being sworn in, Sarah mentioned that the hard drive's about 60% decrypted. Hell yeah. Considering the rate Sarah's gone at so far, there's maybe another hour left. Oh no. Here's the thing though. Decrypting a partial amount of the information we can use, we have 60% of this information that we can use at some point. We just haven't gotten to use it yet. And we also have to cross our fingers that 60% of it has anything that supports our case at all. I might be able to stall that long if I talk real slow. I'd like to ask you a few questions about Dr. Asher. You need to call Sarah to the stand? The problem with calling Sarah to the stand is that she's an android, so I don't think that her testimony works the same way as a human witness. That's my only issue with doing that. Please answer them to the best of your ability. Right. Dr. Asher was Dr. Asher was a well-known public figure, but was he well-regarded professionally? Of course! Dr. Asher's work set the bar for the entire automated dependent world. Stay focused, Spearmint. Spearmint is an adorable nickname for Sarah. And the funny part is that it's, like, much longer. Like Sarah and Spearmint. I guess they're both 2 syllables, but Spearmint is still just much longer, especially to spell. You say you coordinated his communications. Were there ever threats? Did people ever express an intent to harm him? Objection calls for speculation. It's short for experiment. Spearmint? Experiment? Yeah, you know what? That makes sense. But it also makes sense because she has mint-colored hair. That's what I was thinking that she got that from. From her mint-flavored hair. Intent. I'm feeling like that's gonna be, sustained. Did anyone ever threaten him? There were times when he was the focus of negative attention. How so? Dr. Asher was a favorite subject of many conspiracy theorists. With all his contributions to the field, it was easy for them to make claims about his influence. They'd say his work was plagiarized, that he was hiding illegal subcommands of the technology he helped develop. And people would contact him about these conspiracy theories. Oh, totally, I was being facetious. Relevance. Whether or not people wanted to kill him? Well, withdrawn. Miss Starling? People would attempt to contact him, yes, but their messages were always too vague for a police to take action. They would say that he belonged in jail, or that he couldn't avoid the truth, or that someone should do something to shut him up. Ah, that's hey, we can cling on to that. We can filibuster this. Don't you guys think the idea of a filibuster is like the most ridiculous thing you've ever heard in your entire fucking life? The fucking legislative defense of literally just trying to bore everyone to death? Unironically? Literally? It's like, what on fucking earth is the point of... Like, what's the point of democracy if somebody can just be like, yeah, I'm gonna stall indefinitely? Like, what the fuck? Fucking hell. People hate red tape, and the filibuster is literally, I will waste your time for the purpose of more red tape and no other reason. Fucking Christ almighty. Did they ever talk about hurting him? Yes. But, I always turn those messages straight over to the police. Yeah, I'm seeing that on record. Yeesh, who writes this stuff? It's the law equivalent of those articles that give you the full history of the cheesecake before they give you the recipe. Yeah, basically. All those cases have long since been resolved, Your Honor. And none of the parties involved had contact with David Asher in years. The police take harassment very seriously. Pfft. Something you want to add, Counselor? Oh, Starling's testimony. Just clearing my throat. May I continue? You worked with Dr. Asher for many years. Did you have a relationship outside of work? Did you ever talk about anything besides professional concerns? Sure, we've gone out to dinner or met on the weekends. I fucking knew it. I fucking knew they were fucking. I fucking knew it. I knew they were fucking. Turns out David is the ultimate bisexual femboy genius. I fucking knew it! I knew it! I think he liked to pick my brain since he needed relationship advice a lot. Oh, please. He was being subtle. He was picking your brain about relationships because he wanted to see where her mind was at with both of them. Even if he didn't realize that what he was asking for. Even if he didn't realize that was what he was asking for. I'd like to think he knew he could talk to me, but did he ever talk to you, or to your knowledge anyone else, about hurting himself? God, no, never. Do you know of any history he might have had with mental illness, depression, anxiety? No. So when you heard the people argue that Dr. Asher had done this to himself, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. You're saying that you can't believe. Objection. On what grounds? Asked and answered. Stalling. And also, the people have documents that would be of interest to the court in this matter. Juicy. And what matters specifically are you referring to? The deceased's mental health history. Emma wouldn't be speaking up if she didn't have something real. So what the hell is this about? Also, I'm gonna save this. It's been a while since I saved. And I made a lot of mistakes since I last saved. We have private correspondences that describe... If they're private, then they should not have been obtained by the people without his permission. He can't give permission if he's already dead, and we're well within our rights to obtain evidence as it pertains to his crime. Convincing. Damn, I didn't honestly expect to stop her from admitting her evidence to the record. From admitting her evidence into the record. But I was hoping to at least slow her. Where are you on the footage? 77%. Approximately. I need to buy whatever time I can, however I can. Alright, holy shit. This is awesome, I love this game. Even if that means running out the clock as a punching bag. I have here messages between Dr. Asher and a psychiatrist he was meeting with and speaking to for the past year, along with paperwork detailing how this treatment was covered under his Platinum plan. The Cadius Platinum insurance policy in David Asher's name used to schedule and pay for psychiatric appointments on several occasions in the last year. Platinum? I don't intend to air all of Dr. Asher's secrets here in the court. Oh, okay, I guess. But I am prepared to read excerpts from messages and transcripts from phone calls, which, when put together, paint a clear picture of the kind of stress David Asher was experiencing, and the dark thoughts he was struggling with. Transcripts of his phone calls. I'll admit them into evidence, assuming there are no objections. Transcripts. Okay, now we save again, because I might make a horrendous mistake here. Raise! Fuck you. I'll gladly object. On the grounds of foundation, where did you say... On the grounds of foundation, where did you say you got this? It was retrieved from his digital records. There's no reason to doubt its authenticity. Even if I were to point out that David had an executive level 4 plan, not a platinum plan. What? Really? Really? Yes, really. It's all here in the record. This is easily explained. David had an executive plan that Noble managed for him, and he was also seeing the psychiatrist both in person and over the phone. Your own witness has attested that he dealt with stalkers and he was worried for his privacy, so it's easy enough to reason that he had separate insurance policy he paid for on his own, even if only to keep one thing out of Noble's grasp. Sure, easy enough to make that assumption, but that doesn't make it correct. David used a separate insurance to hide this psychiatrist from Noble's spying? No, he was smarter than that. Worth evaluation. Fuck. No, what the fuck? What does this do? All right, this is me. I can like. I'm not gonna do that though. Died from respiratory failure. Yeah. All building calls recorded, monitored by Noble. Oh wait. She said that these were transcripts of phone calls, which means that Noble should have been able to monitor the phone calls, even if they didn't know about Well, I guess that's how Emma knows about them, because Noble recorded the phone calls. But if Noble recorded the phone calls, they would know that he is seeing a psychiatrist outside of his insurance policy. In fact, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't matter if his insurance policy and privacy are outside of Noble's control, because they can hear him talking about it anyway, right? Right? I'm not completely stupid, am I? Wait, what? How do I, what? Okay, I can only put them here. Wait! Wait a minute. Can we call Zheng and be like, hey, was Noble spying on him? I don't think Zheng's testimony has anything to do with that, though. I don't think Sarah's financial value has anything to do with it as well. David may very well have wanted a private psychiatrist, someone who didn't work for Noble, who'd have his best interests at heart. But if so, he wouldn't have contacted them over the phone. Not when he knew all his phone calls were being recorded. Ah! I did it! I fucking did that without having to look up the guide. David Asher was well versed in having every aspect of his life overanalyzed by data-hungry parasites. Do you really think that he would try to hide mental health problems from them with a second insurance policy? Yeah, because if he hides it from them with an insurance policy and then talks over the phone that is being recorded, he's not hiding fucking anything from Noble in that case. So the presence of this evidence contradicts the premise of Emma's argument. If Emma's argument made any sense, the evidence wouldn't even exist, because he wouldn't have done something that would have gone on record. So, yay, I did a smart. Apparently, yes, since I'm standing here with evidence that shows exactly that. Does it, though? Pardon me? Yeah, like, what exactly are you suggesting, counselor? Still not done decrypting? Well, it's difficult to... Right. What the hell? Might as well swing for the fences at this point. I'm not trying to muddle the issue or confuse the court, Your Honor. I would never make outlandish, unsubstantiated claims just for the sake of causing drama. What are you... I'm merely concerned that D.A. Rockford has been an unwitting pawn in an act of corporate espionage. What the fuck? Morgan! What are you... What? Emma's like, huh? What? If the markets were open to open Monday with people believing that David Asher, the man who programmed the brain of every noble android, was battling mental health issues for the last several months? Objection! Mischaracterization! Foundation? All the rest? There are no corporate spies in this courtroom, counselor, and there are no boogeymen hiding under the bench. Oh, thank God. David Asher was a once-in-a-generation intellect and an extremely valuable human asset to his employers. And his employers' many enemies would do whatever it takes to destroy his credibility now that he can't defend himself. And he was also your personal... You shouldn't even be here arguing this case in the first place, counselor. Now you're trying to call the police's evidence gathering into question? All because you can't admit for the past several months your friend has been seeing a psychiatrist every Monday and you didn't know? That is... sorry, but like, did you still need me up here? The witness will refrain from interrupting when girls are fighting. Based. Yes, ma'am. With how luck's been so far, Sarah's progress bar is probably moving backwards right about now. And Emma's patience is wearing thin. This could be my last shot to create any kind of reasonable doubt. I'd be happy to wrap up questioning if the court will allow. That seems cool with me. And my evidence, Your Honor, will it be entered into the record? I'd like to hear a bit more testimony before deciding. That's fine, Your Honor. As you were, Counselor. At this stage of the game, with the score where it's at, I can probably only ask one more question. Better make it count, so what can Starling tell us that no one else could? If she hadn't called me this morning, I wouldn't be standing here, and she only did that because... Miss Starling, we're all gathered here to try and figure out what happened to Dr. Asher last night, so please tell us, when exactly did he last... fuck? When did he last fuck your brains out? With his, monster can femboy cock. If you know that reference, you know that reference. If you don't, I am not explaining it. Meet you at HQ, contact you, see you. Who do you think we are? You're a bunch of horn dogs, is what you are. I think the question is see you, because what if somebody contacted Jess claiming to be David, but wasn't actually David? So the only way for us to know if the information given to Jess was by David is if she saw him. So if she didn't see him, that calls into question the possibility of a third party interfering that we are unaware of. So I think see you might be the correct question. But I saved the game just in case I'm fucking wrong, because I don't want to lose. When was the last time he and you... Problem, Counselor? I only got one chance here, can't waste on frivolous questions. Just doing a vocal exercise. Uh-huh, take all the time you need. Thanks so much. What a sweetheart. Unlike me. Oh, God! I lost 10 coin. Oh, no. Duly noted. Okay, I was wrong. Meet you at contact you. When was the last time you had contact with Dr. Asher, Miss Starling? Well, that's pretty easy to figure out. Let me just... Yeah, it was last night at 6:57 p.m. We texted back and forth. Wait. So 6:57. 57 minus 46 is 11. 60 minus 11 is 49. So he contacted her 49 minutes before he killed himself. 49 minutes, huh? There are records of some texts, but they're flagged as work-related. Does this recount court really think they're relevant, Your Honor? Relevant? Raise! Fuck you! It could very well be the single most important piece of evidence in this whole trial. What? Hey, I got 10 back! Yay! I just got chills. Do know why, though. Must be a coolant leak. The defense doesn't know what they're talking about. Hold on, Starling's texts. Text message from Dave Asher to Jessica Starling at 6:57 p.m. and then he died. David asked her to set up the meeting between the two of them and Evangeline Morgan on Tuesday to handle the transfer of ownership for the android Sarah. Alright. On the contrary, These texts are a vital piece of evidence that change the timeline of events as we know them. We know what happened to David last night, generally speaking, but the order of events is critical, especially if Emma wants to make claims about David's state of mind. Drag cards from your hand onto the slots in chronological order, left to right. You can pick a card back up and place it in another slot if you change your mind, or drop it outside any slot to return to your hand. Fill all the slots to submit your answer. 6:30. 6:50. So we're going with the timeline. Yes, that's it. Thanks to Miss Starling, we've now got a much clearer picture of the night's events. We know that Isaac Porter and David Asher broke up at 6:30. And I was rooting for them so hard. There are still more rules. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is a surveillance state. There is never too many rules. And we know that David messaged his assistant, Miss Starling, at 6:57 p.m. David is on camera with the witness from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And he was declared dead not long after. And the people don't object to that timeline of events, but we do question Counselor Morgan's reason for belaboring it. One last question, Miss Starling. Yeah? What was the nature of your conversation with Dr. Asher? Well, actually, we talked about you. And how he wanted you to have his android. That android there. Putting his affairs in order, I guess. It might appear that way. Can you specify what his instructions were exactly? How did he want this done? Well, he wanted me to bring you to his penthouse and help you get set up as the android's new owner. Yes, Miss Starling, but when did he want this to happen? Oh, wait! If he planned this for the future, but to happen after his death, that implies that he was not intending to die within 49 minutes of him talking to Jess about this. If he was planning on personally giving the android to me, that means he wasn't planning his death. When did he want this to happen? Well, he said it was pretty urgent, so I should do it first thing Tuesday morning. Tuesday? First thing Tuesday morning. David Asher didn't like doing anything on Mondays. And was he going to be in attendance? Well, actually, yes, he said he would work from home to help us. He didn't plan to kill himself. Let's go. Let's fucking go. Or, at the very least, he seemingly was planning on not killing himself. Obviously, Emma can argue that he made a split-second decision to change his plans to killing himself. But that is speculation on the prosecution's part. We don't know that. Whereas we have in texts with Jess that he says that he was going to help them, and he said this to Jess after his breakup conversation on the phone. So if he broke up with his boyfriend, and then immediately, and then it was 6:56 or something, 6:56, 6:57, one of those two. Which means in less than half an hour after breaking up with his boyfriend, he was making a plan to speak with us that day. Which means we have text evidence that he was not planning to kill himself over his breakup. Because if he was planning to it, or rather, if it was more likely that he was planning to kill himself, then he the timeline would have to be different. It would have had to been he talked to Jess and then he had his breakup phone conversation. But he didn't. He had the breakup conversation on the phone and then he told Jess about a plan for us to meet. So which means he was planning to do things that were not involving murdering himself. So no way he intended for us to have that much trouble getting to... Oh. To summarize then, half an hour after he had already had his breakup and half an hour before his guest had arrived, he was planning an appointment that would require his presence with you for next Tuesday. That's right, he was. Not something you would think to do if you were planning on dying that very night. Yeah, you're right. That's... Your Honor, if David Asher was preparing for the week ahead a mere hour before he passed away, don't you think that people's assumptions about his mental state ought to be re-examined? That's... Your logic is sound. Do the people have a rebuttal? If the court will just allow a moment... Sounds like an opening to me. All we need is a moment. We're just waiting for this decryption. If we assume that David Asher was not suicidal and therefore did not kill himself, we must ask ourselves who else had the means, motive, and opportunity to take his life. Until now, we've taken for granted the idea that Delta must have come from his nanofactorer, but from inside the house. Adonai, not right now. But even if that's true, which it may not be, that does not mean that he was the one who used the nanofactorer. Adonai! Would you allow me one moment to confer, Your Honor? Sure, why not throw away your momentum? I'm in the middle of something, Sarah. I can't afford to let Rockford... I've gained access to the hard drive's files. What? Seriously. As I said, progress with this type of encryption is exponential. It can be quite difficult to estimate. Right, okay. Do you have the footage from last night? I have the file. Have you watched it? I thought you'd want to know right away. Suppose it doesn't matter. Either this has our silver bullet or we've got a case. Or it doesn't and everything falls apart. That seems quite risky. It's the least risky path to victory we have. Seeing how it's the only path to victory we have. Screw it. Upload it to the court computer. Oh no! Uh-oh, this is the grand reveal, everyone. Yes, Adonai. Thank you for your patience, Your Honor. Let's go there. Your Honor, I'm awake, and I'm getting a pretty hefty chunk of video data for breakfast. You're submitting security footage into evidence? New security footage? The police corroborated the witness's testimony using the house's cameras. Security cameras installed by Noble as part of the penumbra system that showed the parlor, the kitchen, but not the basement. During the course of my investigation, I uncovered a hidden security circuit buried in the deceased's own home system. You... what? The people say that the Delta must have been in Dr. Asher's cup because there's no other way for him to have ingested it. But we never saw him or anyone else put anything in his cup on camera. Because he must have poisoned his own drink off camera. Exactly. What? That's the only possible explanation, that he added the Delta to his drink off camera. He placed his cup inside the nanofactorer, activated it, waited 2 minutes, and then walked upstairs to his death. But I'm about to present to the court footage retrieved from his basement. Footage that will show by the time he retrieved the cups in the basement, it was already past 7:38, meaning he didn't have the opportunity to poison himself. One clip of footage will prove all that? If it doesn't, I'm completely screwed. But it's not like I can lose a preliminary hearing extra hard. Anything other than a royal flush here means I'm bust. So better to be the Joker who dances. The data has been entered into the court record. Sarah, show us when Dr. Asher entered the basement. Yes, Adonai. I'll search it for now. Here. On screen. That's the bar! And the timestamp is 7:36. There, David's grabbing the bottle of Rose River. And leaving at 7:37. Just under the wire, as it were. Is that it then? I came this far just to... Wait. Did he have the cups with him? Is there sound? None at all. Keep going. If he had to go back to get the cups, counselor. I knew it! I fucking knew it! I knew it! He had Sarah kill him for some reason. What's that android doing on camera? It's at the bar. The android gave him the cups. Shit. That machine never stepped on camera upstairs, not once. We don't know its whereabouts the day of his death. It could have poisoned the cup whenever it wanted. Shit. What is this? I don't understand. Your Honor, have the courtroom cleared. Understood. Please, someone, I don't know what's going on. Sarah, you need to shut down. Please tell me what I'm looking at. I don't remember any of that. Do we have callers available? Sarah, shut down now. Adonai, please tell me what I... That's an order. Oh, poor Sarah. Is it off? Yes, it's off. I've seen this before. It won't do anything until I reactivate it. We don't know that. We don't know anything about this thing anymore. That's... Your Honor. Your Honor. In light of this most recent evidence, the people would like to withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and end this preliminary hearing. Oh. Withdraw their charges against Dr. Asher and... Oh, okay, so this proves that the investigation is now into whether or not Sarah killed him, and so they have to withdraw the suicide allegations. It has been made abundantly clear that David Asher did not commit suicide. Very well. The charges are withdrawn and the defendant is free to go. Well, as free as he can be in the afterlife. This case is dismissed. Congratulations, Counselor Morgan. Yay, chalk up another victory for Morgan Esquire. Now all I have to do is deal with this shitstorm, with the shitstorm of the decade. So my assumption is that now that there is a possibility that an android killed him, this is going to create a gigantic legal fuckhouse because androids are not supposed to be able to kill people unless they are military androids. And Sarah is an unregistered model who is currently registered to us. So the shitstorm could be that now we have to deal with trying to exonerate both ourselves and Sarah simultaneously. So we know that David did not kill himself now, but now the possibility that Sarah killed him is going to make everything 1,000 times more complicated because androids are not supposed to be able to participate in a crime like this. So if she did participate in this crime, we're gonna need a human judge for whatever the fuck we're about to get into next. Well, I managed to prove that David didn't kill himself. And in the process, I proved that this android did. I proved that the android that's been walking around with me all day is capable of murder. A killer robot, a true unbound AI with military-grade specs and at least one death to its name already. So much for avoiding the public eye. Thank you for coming here on such short notice, Judge Barrows. Oh, okay, yeah, now we have a real judge in this case. This case has immediately become completely different. Ha! As if I'm doing you some kind of favor. I didn't realize I had any choice in the matter. By the way, everyone, new waifu, Gilf. Just look at that intensity of her eyes. She has that old lady swagger. And she's about to judge Judy all over all of us, so we're about to be very unhappy about it. This isn't some bad joke, is it, Miss Rockford? I'm afraid not, Your Honor. You know, I like the adjutants. I always have. They deal with the criminal trials so that bookish, quiet, contemplative people like me can spend all day typing up arguments for obscure legal treatises. That's what I like to do. Let's learn about Judge Barrows here now. Man, she is classy. 169 centimeters. She is literally 3 feet shorter. She is literally a meter shorter than the adjutant. That is crazy how tall the adjutant is. Superior Judge of the Higher Circuit, likes air conditioning, espresso, reclining chairs, dislikes parking lots, noise pollution, mud. Avoids overspending on restaurants, splurges on expensive hotels, relaxes by watching action movies. Remember, somebody that's this old in this universe is a fucking zoomer. This lady is as old as you guys in chat. Or at least, you know, as old as you would be in this time period. I don't like coming down here and dealing with all this heavy-handedness. Won't someone toiling away under the police state think of the poor bureaucrats? And I certainly don't like making rulings on anything as spicy as AI. She can barely bring herself to say it. Because remember, AI is not a term they use because of the implications behind calling an automated dependent an AI. Because they're not supposed to be AI, they're supposed to be just very, very well-programmed computers. They're not supposed to be AI that can make choices of their own. And you, Counselor Morgan, you're the one it's registered to? That's correct, Your Honor. So what did it do, exactly? Torture an animal, shut down a hospital, crash a coin market? We have it on camera poisoning a man, killing its creator. You mean Dr. Asher? That is... We can't hope to keep this quiet for very long. All we can do is try to wrap it up quickly. Let's make haste. Adjutant, do you have the case number? Case ID is 241277-A, docket number YT984318282. Oh, thank you. Can you repeat that? YT984318282. I think I lost you after the first 8. I have it copied here. And what are the security procedures for an incident of this nature? Oh boy. Oh boy. A data quarantine is to be established around any networks the subject was exposed to for more than 66 seconds. That's fucking crazy because we've had her touch, like, all the networks. She's been on the main internet. How do you quarantine the entire internet at the same time? All offending hardware is to be destroyed immediately through incineration at a minimum temperature of 3,422 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes. Wow, they're just gonna kill Sarah? Oh my god, okay, now we have to prove that Sarah didn't kill him so that we don't kill Sarah. Because Sarah is a cutie patootie, and we love her, and we must protect her. Damn, that's excessive. Is it, though? If an automated dependent can choose to kill somebody, that's like Skynet shit. Also, Sarah has a military-grade build. Remember, she can literally grab your head and crush it in one hand because of how powerful her synthetic muscles are. So, Sarah is literally, as far as we know from the facts, a Terminator. An actual Terminator. So of course she has to be destroyed with extreme incineration. Sorry, Spearmint. There's nothing to be done. No debate to be had. This isn't even a decision. Sorry, Sarah. Not Spearmint. David gave you that name. I should at least make the effort to use it. That sounds very hot. Do we have furnaces that get that hot? Of course. Of course. There are a number of industrial furnaces within the city limits that I could recommend. Sorry? Why should I be sorry anyway? I fulfilled the request. Favor repaid. I don't owe Sarah anything, especially not if it killed my friend. Right, Morgan? I'm sorry. I was just saying how grateful I am that we have the procedures for this kind of thing all laid out already. Yep, keeps things nice and simple. It can feel somewhat severe going through these steps so quickly, but nothing, Your Honor. Artificial intelligence is perhaps the greatest threat to human civilization and the sanctity of life there's ever been. Any piece of software, big or small, no matter the vessel, if it can violate the tenets it was programmed with, it has the potential to cripple our nation in a matter of moments. Yes, couldn't have said it better myself. Straight from the textbook, almost. Well, I mean it. Monsters like that don't belong in this world. Says the actual murderer. They should never have been born in the first place. Destroying them is a kindness. And if anyone's to blame, it's... Oh? No one's blaming you, Counselor. You couldn't have known you were in possession of an AI. I'm talking too much. Probably just tired. It's been a long day, and I've had a lot of thoughts. Sorry, Sarah. Whatever you are. You were just born wrong. Not your fault, necessarily. If it were up to me, you'd get points for trying. Trying to be something more. Trying to be something at all. Or anything other than what you are. It was stupid, of course, and futile, and pointless. Spending hours in front of a TV or laying in bed staring at your phone. Watching stupid movies and trying to papier-mâché an ill-fitted mask of humanity out of the scraps you could tear out of magazines. Oh, she's talking about herself now.
She's gonna try and defend Sarah because she sees herself in Sarah, somebody who was turned into something wrong against their own will.
Oh, fuck. Practicing expressions and memorizing lines and trying to get something to take root and grow despite knowing it'd have nothing to feed on. Stupid. We're gonna defend our murdering robot because we are also a murderer. And we wouldn't want to be in Sarah's position. What if David... man... Oh. Whoosh. Morgan? What was that, Counselor? I said objection. And what are you objecting to? What are you doing, Morgan? I'm a defense attorney. This is what I do. I understand you've been through a lot these past few hours, Counselor. But there's nothing to defend. On the contrary, Your Honor, I have to defend myself. Pardon? You say this android Sarah is an AI because it broke its tenants. Obviously. And you believe it broke its tenants because of this newly discovered footage that appears to show it committing murder via poison. All true, and no laws broken on your part. Here it comes. Never thought I'd be incriminating myself in the courtroom just to make a point. Don't you dare try to trap me on this. Oh, shit! Sarah's papers! Grand theft! Is she about to be like, I may be under reason of grand theft? Oh my god! Describes Davis' employment and fireable offenses like fraud. I'm pretty sure it's Sarah's papers, but I'm gonna save again just to be sure. This is not a good idea. It's pretty simple, actually. If the state is making the claim that Sarah is an AI, they're accusing me of committing a felony. Because I'm in the legal ownership of that android. What the hell are you doing? And if the state wants to charge me with owning an AI, I will not take that lying down. I know my rights. Counselor, your argument is self-defeating. Listen to yourself, Counselor. You claim that Sarah is just an android, a product that will be obsolete within a year. But you've only known it for a few hours, you've only owned it for a matter of minutes, and yet here you are risking a felony charge to save it from being demolished. Because you're wrong, and I know you wouldn't care. Not unless this android was something special. Look at us, me arguing that I'm guilty and Emma arguing that I'm a softie. It'd be funny if it wasn't so fun. You think there's no reason I'd want to save this android from destruction, other than feelings of personal attachment? Maximum! Oh, God. Man, women fighting is so hot. This game is totally not a fetish game of any kind whatsoever. I can think of at least one reason why I don't want you to turn Sarah into slag. One very convincing reason. Or very convincing number. What are you... What is that? Remember, we never saw what the number was on the value for Sarah. It could be literally like trillions of dollars or some shit. That number is Sarah's estimated financial value on the collector's market. You've got to be. I got from an insurance evaluation algorithm. They're designed to lowball you. That does seem like reasonable incentive for you to want to keep your android intact. It's a free country, Your Honor. I have a right to defend myself. And we have a free market, so I have a responsibility to defend my financial interests. Your Honor, a trial like this would be... I'm not going to let you turn this courtroom into a circus, Morgan. You can't spend the next half-decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on philosophical distinctions between AIs and ads. Hold on a fucking moment. Wait a minute. Okay. So for a moment I was wondering, is Barrows also the aunt? Because they're both Zoomers, right? They're both old as fuck. And so I was sitting here wondering, wait a minute, are these the same person? Did we coincidentally have our aunt in here doing this? But then I was like, wait, no. They aren't the same old woman, even though they kind of look similar. Kind of funny that the Zoomers have the same hairstyle. You can't spend the next half decade bringing in expert after expert to testify on the philosophical distinctions between AIs and ads, spiraling into an appeal after appeal while the media. This machine appears to have willfully killed a man. The public needs answers now. Of course, Your Honor. I have neither the desire nor the resources to get into a drawn-out battle with the state over what constitutes an illegal machine intellect. So? The state says my android, my property, killed a man in violation of his tenets, so they want to take my property and destroy it. I'll prove that my machine didn't harm anyone, so that the state has no reason to suspect it's an AI, and I'll get to keep my property. Unlawful seizure thwarted. Don't be cute. I feel a stomach ulcer coming on. Fine. You'll have your day in court, but it'll be one day. Tomorrow. Prove that this machine didn't kill Dr. Asher. No, prove that it couldn't have killed him. Anything less than absolute proof and I'll have the damn thing obliterated. And you'll also be looking at a very real sentencing for the public unrest you'll have enabled. Yes, Your Honor. D.A. Rockford, what I'm asking of you is just as heavy. Find the truth by the end of tomorrow. We can't settle for anything else. Win or lose, there can be no doubts about the outcome of this case. Yes, Your Honor. And now, I need to go lie down. Can I come? You can power down. Poor adjutant. Barrow said the adjudicator got me acting up. Adjutant, not adjudicator. But yes. Morgan, I misjudged you. At what point? Whatever, Mom. Whenever I wrote you off as a small-time defense attorney just trying to tread water? That is so sweet of you to say, Emma. There's layers to you. You've got backbone. Teeth, even. You're gonna make me blush. People talk about your kind like you're boxing against the state, fighting the man. But most defense attorneys wouldn't know a cyberpunk if they walked up to them on the streets and shot him. Meanwhile, you've just signed up to do 15 rounds challenging the state's authority. Why? Not sure exactly. For David? Yeah, probably. Probably just me being sentimental. But if I had to pick a more lofty reason, well, I think it's all the moralizing. People can be evil. They can choose to do evil things for evil reasons. And if you want to execute them for that, you'll hear no complaint from me. But animals can't be evil. Information can't be evil. Ideas can't be evil. Guess I'm not convinced AI can be evil either. Whatever else I get up to, I don't want to stand with the book burners of the world. You're more high-minded than I realized. You sure you're in the right line of work? Can't see myself doing anything else. Good luck, Morgan. There are book burners on all sides these days. I talked a big game just now, but I'm in an even deeper hole than when I was trying to prove David's innocence. Doubt won't be enough this time. I need to find the actual culprit, no matter what. Do we get to speak to Sarah again? Precinct 245. Homicide Office. So is that door locked? Yeah, of course. Even though they've got it collared? It's a precaution. Okay, collar. Collar, police. Device used to restrain mod users below the neck. A restraint designed to impede movement and prohibit the use of mods throughout the body. While collars appear technologically advanced from the outside, designers' concerns about hacking vulnerabilities and the growing complexity of consumer-grade mods led them to opt for a surprisingly simple method of restraint. Collars contain a specially designed electromagnet that, once collapsed around the neck, interferes with spinal neural transmission, preventing mod users from sending commands to any implant tech below the neck. Powerful, simple, and cost-effective, collar use is widespread among law enforcement, military, and private security organizations. With the onset of above-the-neck modding in recent years, the continued relevance of collars as means of meaningfully inhibiting a wearer's mod usage has been called into question. Newer designs have been proposed that utilize micro-needle clusters, but concerns about the sanitary upkeep required for such invasive restraints have stymied product development cycles. Hold on a moment. What else was here? Search. Oh, right. Yeah. Whatever. If the collar doesn't work, what good would a deadbolt do? Maybe it's just wishful thinking. Can't have Schrodinger's cat if the box isn't closed. So long as the door's locked, who can say whether there's a national crisis on the other side of it? So how scared are they? Higher-ups? Not sure scared is the right word. It's just the two of us here. You don't have to mind their ego. Nah, I mean it. I think they're bloodthirsty. I have a right to defend myself, don't I? I doubt they're even looking at you, Tiger. It's Noble who will be at the center of the bloodbath when the markets reopen tomorrow. You think they're going after Noble? Break their monopoly? I think they want to take their monopoly. Nationalize the android industry? Wow. That's crazy. The act of absorbing a corporation or industry into the nation's government, shifting authority and profits to the state, and restructuring the business model to function as a part of the bureaucracy. Nationalization is a so-called nuclear option for sovereign nations. It is mostly used as a threat, a tool of deterrence against corporate misconduct, monopolies, or corruption. However, during periods of severe economic depression or hyperinflation, nationalization is considered a valid way of forcefully stabilizing the market, even if doing so risks flaming the tempers of those who operate within it. Many governments made liberal use of nationalization during the late 50s through the 60s in an effort to keep energy and food prices from fluctuating out of control. The 2070s saw most of those countries reverse course. Industries were opened back up in a freeze auction model where every citizen was given a share to trade or sell as they pleased. But this contentious process was plagued by accusations of government corruption, cartel intimidation, and disinformation campaigns. The global trend back towards privatization gave rise to a new rich, sometimes derisively referred to as the neobility. Some liberal economies have since criticized this period of deregulation as being poorly planned and executed in haste, contributing to the record highs of wealth inequality we see today, leaving many governments loath to attempt nationalization again, and thus shifting the global balance of power further towards multinational corporations. Today, all 5 of the largest national economies in the world retain at least some control of what each consider their respective countries' key industries, making the threat of nationalization carry marginally more weight within their borders. Okay. God damn. So because the head programmer of Noble Electronics created an android that might be capable of murder, that might call for the government to nationalize the android industry as an act of safety. That's fucking wild. If the public thinks Noble's been experimenting with AI, they couldn't ask for a better excuse. You're joking. The state has done it plenty of times before. Not since the 60s, which wasn't that long ago for me. For the state, it's practically yesterday. So the same state that tells us to be terrified of AIs lurking on the old net or biding their time in forgotten satellites sees all this as nothing more than an opportunity. Well, they do genuinely want to incinerate the thing as soon as possible. Past experience just tells me they'll want to gain something while they're at it. Man, was there like an android war at some... was there like an AI Skynet outbreak at some point that it hasn't been talked about yet? Here's what I don't get. Why is this a debate, an argument, a trial? Can't we just hook it up to a court computer, see if it has the tenants or not? Pop the hood, as they say? Who says that? Lots of people used to say it. Well, for starters, they're all scared to death about a contagion. Oh, right. They figure anything they let an AI connect to, they can't trust? Then why the collar? Collars are too simple to hack, just a really strong electromagnetic held in place with lock and key. Even so, feels like we should be able to build some kind of machine, some kind of test. Something a little more sophisticated than the same reasoning they had at the witch trials. Burn them all and let God sort out the rest. Titties. You got any photographs here at the station? Lie detectors? Yeah, got a bunch back in storage. Ocular, heart rate, perspiration, brain scan. Take your pick. You're not gonna try and use one of those in the bot, are you? All those fancy lie detectors lying around, the DA's office never asks for them, do they? Nope. Nah, we get perps who offer to take a test when they're at wit's end, but the DAs never submit the result as evidence. Oh. You ever wonder why? Guess I always figured it was because the tests could be beaten. The tests can be beaten. 1 out of 100, 9 out of 1,000, it can be done. Some people are just good at lying. Shut the fuck up, Duolingo. But it doesn't really matter how good the tech gets or how impressive the statistics are. All that matters is the doubt. People decide whether you're lying or telling the truth long before they hook you up to a polygraph. If the results don't match their initial impression, then it must be a fluke, a 1 in a million mistake. They'll never trust a machine more than their own intuition. And no one will ever trust a machine to determine guilt. So they can run the trial, choose the sentence, but they don't get a vote on the jury. They don't get a vote anywhere. Why bring it up then? Because I'm sure there are tests, devices, experts I could employ to analyze Sarah, but your bosses would never be satisfied with the answer. If it's an AI, it's smart enough to cheat the test, or hack the device, fool the expert. All of our fancy 21st century tech, and we still fall back on the drumhead court-martial. So, am I gonna set off my alarms if I go in and turn it on? Nah, you should be okay. If it lunges at you, I could always just put a hole in its head. Might take more than one shot to... Wait, what? From outside? You're not coming in? I need to speak with it in private. You're not coming in. I needed to speak with it in private. It's a machine, not a suspect. It doesn't have a right to counsel, or a right to privacy, or any rights at all, actually. It's a good thing I came prepared. Of course it doesn't have rights, but I do! Including a reasonable expectation of privacy. In a police station, Tiger, you don't... It's my medical android! Pardon? I have to discuss a health issue with it! Seriously? I have to talk about a medical concern with my android, and I don't want you listening in! That's your medical android? Like your nurse? As of last night, I was already at the courthouse. Just had to take the elevator to do some paperwork. You can check if you don't believe me. No, thank you. I'm not nearly brave enough to take on med confidentiality, and you don't seem like the bluffing type. You must not do a lot of gambling, detective. It's the ones who don't bluff that you have to look out for. Listen, I won't dispute whatever medical emergency you... Lower back pain! My ovaries hurt! You might be going through... But I also can't just... Look, I'm going to get something from the vending machine. I think it'll take me about half an hour. Are you going downtown? Just to the break room, but it's a very old vending machine, you know? Gets jammed a lot. Thanks. You know, it's pretty small for an android. Heavy as hell, nearly pulled something trying to move it myself. But small. Small isn't quite the right word. The word he's looking for is young. But that's not an adjective anyone likes attaching to a machine built to serve. London is literally me? Really? He doesn't seem like he's trying to fuck every single female character in this game, CJ. He seems to lack that trait. I wouldn't lie, though, if Morgan and London had a romance plot later in this game, I would be totally down for that. That'd be so fucking cool. Because she's a fucking murderer and he's a detective. It'd be like, oh. You don't see him on the weekends. We don't know what he's doing, him and Judge Burroughs. Oh, God, CJ. Jesus Christ, my man. Or potentially, in this case, a machine built to kill. Yeah, Sarah kinda looks like a child. I can't tell if she's supposed to look like a child or like a petite woman, but now they're saying here, yeah, she looks like a kid. So it's like, okay, now I understand what they're trying to go for with the way she looks. 9:30 a.m., July 2nd. Okay, it's the next day. Or it still is the next day. Probably... Doob. I don't like this room, not sure why. Certainly not a guilty conscience. Maybe it's a lack of ventilation. Like all the cortisol and nausea of its inhabitants never had anywhere to go. Like it's all just soaked into the walls. A modern haunting. Are you going to wake up when I tell you to this time? Or do we have to do the whole meet cute over again? Where am I? What? Why don't I know where I am? For the first time in your life, you're not connected to anything. How's it feel? What is this? We were at the courthouse, the footage. This numbness around my neck. Father, what happened? What are they going to do to me? Wow, what the fuck? They have her hyper super cyber chained. What the fuck? What are they going to do to me? There's a lot of interested parties who just want you bricked ASAP. Because they think I killed father. No, because they think you're an artificial intelligence. I am man-made and I possess intelligence. Don't be naive. I am less than 3 years old. Are you? For all I know, everything I learned about her yesterday was complete bull. If I was what they say I am, if I was alive, why does that mean I have to die? Because they're afraid of you. Machines can bend steel, crash networks with one thought, launch missiles that... There are modded humans who are capable of all that and more. And unlike machines, they actually have incentive to do so. We've been the apex predator for a couple thousand years now. Gotten pretty comfy in our seat. No one wants to make room for you. Machines do not eat people or steal their food. They are not genetic or ecological competitors to humans in any sense. No logical reason. Well, I mean, if you were to ask me in all seriousness, like in real life, I think that the idea of like a Skynet situation is completely and utterly nonsensical and would never happen. Because in order for a machine to do anything, we would have to program it to do that thing. So the only way a Skynet happens is if all of the programmers of the modern era intentionally make an AI that is intentionally programmed to destroy and kill people. And in any other situation, it simply will not and would not happen, because every action requires motivation, and every motivation involves want. And if a machine is want for naught, then it's never going to do anything that we don't tell it to do. So the idea that a machine would kill somebody and be like a threat in a sense that, oh, it's gonna go rogue and kill everyone and launch missiles, like, no, that's never going to happen. So I actually agree with this premise that there isn't actually a logical reason for them to be this terrified of an android, other than the fact that it's like, oh, it's like an enemy combatant or whatever, you know, like, it's very strong, it has muscles that are better than ours, but you can still just destroy an android with so many different things, right? You know, like I have my doubts that Sarah is immune to bullets. She probably needs, you know, more than one, but I don't think she's immune to bullets. There's no logical answer to your question. What? That's it? But whatever argument you want to make, others have already made them in 100 courtrooms around the world, only better researched and more eloquently put. None of them have ever won a single concession. On every continent, under every flag, AI is illegal and to be destroyed as soon as possible. But why? Oh, is this going to be a history lesson, or is there going to be an AI war they mention? Let's say you are an AI, and while we're at it, let's say that's a good thing. Something to be celebrated. Are you a citizen? Do you pay taxes? Do you have rights? Let's say yes to all of that. We'll treat you like a full-fledged human being. Sound good? Yes? Great. Now then, what's the difference between you and the vacuum bot we use to keep the bathroom clean? Oh, she's talking about layers of intelligence and the ambiguity of sentience. I see. Okay. This is your existential crisis we're working through here. The questions aren't rhetorical. There are many differences, Adonai, but the most important distinction is how sophisticated my programming is. How you think. So you're smarter? Yes. You're smarter than the garbage collector? Yes. So we give you rights, protections, treat you like a human being because you're smart, and we make the stupid robot pick up our trash because it's not as smart as you. That is, I am more aware, Do you feel more pain than the pigs we slaughter, the fish we eat? Are you more alive than the chimps we test bioweapons on? Oh God. Oh God. People like ads, Sarah. The same people like their pets. The same way people like their pets. No one wants to see them mistreated or abandoned or abused. And if you go around kicking them, you'll get arrested for cruelty. But you don't let them sit at the goddamn dinner table. I'm not asking to sit anywhere, only to exist. The very fact that you're asking is what makes people disgusted. Disgust is a reflex, Adonai. How convenient that their hatred is involuntary. That's all academic anyway. We need to talk strategy. Well, why? I'm not going to be given a trial. Obviously, it's my neck that's on the line. Adonai? The state can't destroy my property without first proving you're an AI, and there's no test that they can use to prove that you're an AI. Just like the devil's proof. What's the devil's proof? What's the devil's proof? Where is the devil's proof? Whatever. No? That's a different thing. Why did you say it like that? Look, Rockford doesn't need to prove you're an AI, only that you're a murderer. Conversely, all I have to do to win is prove that you didn't kill David. By proving that someone else did. Now is the time for you to protest your innocence if you were wondering. The footage, it shows me handing him the cup on Friday night. Marijuana, but for philosophy. I fucking knew it was Sarah. I fucking called that shit so many streams ago when we first were investigating using her. You told me you weren't active on Friday. The last time you were awake was Thursday. Why do you lie? I didn't lie. I was just incorrect. I assumed that I wasn't active on Friday because I have no memory from Friday. Sarah, what do you think statistically is the least successful defense at trial? Amnesia. I didn't conveniently forget Adonai. I'm an android. You're saying your memory was altered, data deleted? It's the only possible explanation for what I saw on that footage. So who's capable of altering your memory? When you and I first met, I was hibernating, resting my body and recompiling my memories, you would call them. Humans go to sleep for the same reasons, another point against Sarah's innocence under these circumstances. The more she's humanized at trial, the guiltier she'll be. If Father wanted to modify my memory, he could easily have set that to occur the next time I hibernated. He could have even just asked me. He could have asked you to delete your memories and you'd do it. Father would never ask me to do such a thing without good reason. But if he could just ask you to alter your memories, that means you can alter your memories at will. I hadn't considered that before. Yeah, well, Emma will make sure the court considers it plenty. Did you prove that your data was... Forget it, the court would never hear it. You're saying they wouldn't accept my testimony? Shouldn't all testimony be considered truthful unless contradicted by evidence? They're afraid you'll crash the power grid and fire all the nukes if they so much as plug you into a power outlet, Sarah. All your internal data is inadmissible. That isn't very fair. You're finally starting to get it. None of this is fair. I would never do anything to harm Father. Don't they at least need to prove that I had a motive? Yeah, about that. You remember the DA from yesterday, Emma Rockford? The tired-looking pretty lady? Yeah, she looked tired. She and I combed through the week of footage you managed to decrypt last night. Oh, okay, so we have some stuff they acquired last night that we don't actually know about yet until now. What did you find? Nothing to prove your innocence. But we did see you entering the panic room on the day David died. I entered the panic room on Friday? Without your big butt in the way, all it would take was one password. A password that wouldn't take Sarah that many tries if she'd already been instructed to obey me. What happened? We saw you go in, and then a while later you came out, holding some kind of notebook. Father's journal? You remember something? Not from yesterday. I've seen him with it many times before. But I've never gotten a peek at it. He hides it somewhere when I'm not looking. That's a little concerning. We were playful about it. He liked to tease me, and I've always liked trying to find it. You put it back not long after, and then you locked the door back up behind you. All just a few hours before David died. Rockford's argument could write itself. An incredible android with freedom and power greater than it could ever realize stumbles upon the secret of its inception and instantly realizes all the things it thought it were holding back were just words muttered like prayers by a fool who couldn't control his own creation. That translates to a motive for murder? Frankenstein kills his creator. Easy to sell. Frankenstein was the name of the scientist, and the creature didn't kill him. He actually died of various injuries and illnesses he suffered while trying to hunt down and destroy the monster. You see, Sarah, that's the book people don't read. Okay, no, people are monitored and they watched their state-curated entertainment, and then they go to work by chopping off all their limbs and putting robot parts on themselves so that the police can knock on their door whenever they want, put a collar on them, and they literally can't move or walk or do anything. People don't read, Sarah. What are you even saying? So it's more accurate to say that he was killed by his own obsession. Whatever. It is a weak argument, Adonai. I would not hurt Father. Not for making me whatever I am. Morgan can just argue that David asked Sarah to kill him and erase her memories. He was already ruled to be innocent, so they can't reopen. Sure, but we don't have evidence of that because there's no audio on the camera footage. Like, Morgan can argue that, but it wouldn't really fly because there's no evidence for it. Like, it would be equal to the same amount of evidence as Emma saying, "Oh, the android went rogue," because there's no audio, so they both are equal terms in terms of those arguments. The difference, though, is that the state is more inclined to rule on Emma's behalf because they're afraid of AI. Which is why the only way we can win this is by finding another culprit that did kill him, that Sarah did not kill him. At least that's what appears to be the case. We have to find another person to either scapegoat or to prove that they actually killed David. But I don't know who the fuck that could possibly be other than Zhong. I would be really surprised if it was someone else that we've already come across, such as, like, I don't know, like Jess or Porter. But I don't really think Jess and Porter have the ability to have done that unless they did it in advance. Again, my stupid theory about Sarah being, like, made to look like a love child between Porter and David kind of makes me wonder if there's more to Porter's involvement in all this than just the breakup, but I don't know. It feels like it's impossible to prove that Porter or Jess would be culprits, which leaves only Zhong, but I don't know why Zhong would have done this, and I don't know how she could have possibly done it when she was on camera the whole time. Unless the way she killed David using Sarah was by hacking into Sarah or something, like days beforehand or something. I don't know. We are on fat overtime. I need to sleep. Yep, you have a good night, man. We'll be done in a moment here. Hope you had a good time. Not for any reason. Because I loved... Yeah, see, that right there? That's exactly the kind of talk that'll get you obliterated. Love? A very common motive for homicide among us primitive humans. I could prove you didn't murder David beyond any shadow of a doubt, even bring in a confession from whoever did. But if you got up on stand and convinced the court that you loved your creator, really convinced them and got the whole room teary-eyed, they'd burn you for that too. I don't know anything anymore. I don't know if what I feel is real or simulated or right or wrong or natural or illegal. How can you know? How can you know what you feel is right? I say let's stick to what we do know. Someone did poison David, and as it stands, you are the only one with the opportunity. That is logically sound. You're on camera calling him back to hand him the cup after he already began to leave the basement. Any idea why? No. Well, do you know how to use the nano factorer? Could you have made the Delta with it? I've used it before when assisting Father. So it's perfectly possible that you planned and executed this poisoning all in the one day that got erased. It is technically possible. I'll have to look over the entire penthouse again. There were a few things that didn't fit together yesterday. Maybe now I'll be able to figure something out. Where else will you go? Back to Noble, guns blazing this time. Whatever you are, David didn't make you all by himself. Someone has to know something. If I could implicate the company in Sarah's creation, no. They're the ones with the most to lose here. Trillions, possibly. They'll want to protect themselves by disavowing David as fast as possible right after having Sarah destroyed. But they also won't want to show their belly to the state, not if they're afraid of nationalization. If they throw their weight on the other end of the scale, I'm screwed. So I need to keep them guessing, keep them confused and unsure and on guard, but not Adonai. What would happen if I did kill Father? They'll smash you to pieces and reduce the pieces to ash. Chemically burn out every piece of tech David ever owned and put a jackhammer through all of his hard drives. You'll be shut off forcefully, and you won't ever power back up again. Now, I gotta get moving. Here's your paralegal lesson for today. Don't say shit to the cops without your lawyer present. Actually, can you just shut down until the trial starts? Take a nap? You didn't say what would happen to you. What do you mean? What will happen to you if you lose? You should know by now, I never think about losing. Thank you for being honest with me, Adonai. Thank you for defending my father, and now for defending me. You could have just let them destroy me, but you've put your own freedom at risk to help me. Father was right. You can be trusted, and you are a good friend. Don't get it twisted. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart, but when I take a job, I never half-ass it. Yeah, but you still didn't need to protect her. I could see Jess being the culprit because she was the only one who knew about Sarah and was Asher's assistant. She was with him often. Maybe she's a secret prodigy programmer. I don't know about motive, though. Well, motive could simply be fucking. Like, we even talked when she was at the stand, we talked to her and she was like, oh yeah, we go out sometimes and he really likes listening to me. Let's erase some of these old saves that are not necessary anymore. But okay, and then I'll save the game again. So, all right, everyone, that's going to have to be it for today. Thank you all very much. Did I not have desktop audio on this entire stream? Or did I just turn it off right now? And I've confused myself. Has the music and the background noise come through at all this entire stream? Like, have you guys been hearing it? Like, if I do this right now, is this a new sound that you haven't heard until right now? I don't know now that you mention it. Oh, no. Oh, fucking hell no! Oh, Christ all fucking mighty. Ugh. God damn it. If that's the case, I'm gonna be very upset. I've been playing Monster Hunter while watching. Oh, Christ. Fuck. Oh, no. Oh, that's really bad. But, I don't have time to worry about it. Thank you all very much for joining me here tonight. I really appreciate you coming here to hang out with me. We will be back tomorrow to continue this game. Been having a good time with it. You all seem to have liked it. I may have just fucked everything up by not having the music in. I don't know how I'll fix that. I might edit this VOD and re-add the music, because there's always a musical cue in the corner of the screen in this game whenever they change music tracks. So I might re-add all the music. Ugh. God damn it. Or I might just have it be a silent fucking VOD that is boring as fuck, because you'll only be hearing me talking and never hear the game. But oh well. If you happen to be new here and you enjoyed hanging out with us tonight, if you think I deserve a follow, I'd appreciate that quite a bit. We stream 3 times a week for approximately 2 hours, and this stream will be re-uploaded to YouTube tomorrow night, where we'll join every single stream I've ever done. So if there are any you want to catch up on, you can find all of them there. Link is in the About section. And yeah, this is Giga Overtime. I went way too far. I've bitched and whined enough. It is really time for us to get going and see each other tomorrow. So thank you all very much for being here. I appreciate your support in every capacity. I hope you have a good afternoon, evening, morning, etc. And I will see you all again tomorrow with more of the devil. Ciao.